The weight of the ring. Frodo Baggins had always dreamed of peace. After everything, the treacherous journey across Middle-earth, the torment of the One Ring, the battles that had raged for his soul, he had believed that peace was waiting for him at the end of it all. A quiet life in the Shire, filled with the simple joys of friendship, food, and song. The ring was destroyed. Sauron had been vanquished. The world was safe again. Or so he thought. The scars from Frodo's journey never truly healed. The wound he had sustained at Weathertop ached, and the weight of the ring, though gone, still lingered in his mind. It was a ghostly sensation, a dull pressure on his chest, like a shadow that followed him wherever he went. Despite the Shire's beauty, the blooming fields, the endless green hills, the laughter of his fellow hobbits, Frodo could not shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. It started with the dreams. At first, they were vague, fleeting images of fire and shadow. He would wake up in a cold sweat, the echo of Gollum's rasping voice in his ears, whispering, "My precious." But over time, the dreams grew more vivid, more real. He began to see the eye of Sauron again, burning in the distance, watching him, searching for something that should have been destroyed. Frodo tried to push the dreams away, to focus on the life he had fought so hard to reclaim. Samwise was there, always loyal, always offering a kind word or a cup of tea. But even Sam noticed that something was off. Frodo would sit by the window for hours, staring out at the horizon, his fingers absently rubbing the space where the ring had once hung from a chain around his neck. One night, the dream was different. It wasn't just a memory or a phantom from his past. It was something new, something darker. In the dream, Frodo stood on the edge of Mount Doom once more, the fires roaring below him. But this time, when he looked down at his hand, the ring was there, gleaming, perfect, as if it had never been destroyed. His heart raced as he tried to drop it into the fire, but his fingers wouldn't release their grip. The ring pulsed with power, its whisper calling out to him, urging him to put it on, to claim its power once more. When Frodo woke, the sensation of the ring's weight was so real, he could barely breathe. His hand trembled as he reached for his neck, half expecting to find the chain there, but of course, it was gone. He was free of it, wasn't he? Days passed, and the dreams became more frequent, more insistent. Frodo began to hear the ring's voice during the day, a soft whisper that gnawed at his thoughts. It wasn't possible. The ring was destroyed. He had watched it melt away in the fires of Mount Doom. But the whispers told him otherwise. You still have it, Frodo. The voice would say, curling into his mind like a serpent. You never destroyed it. It's still yours. Frodo couldn't take it anymore. One cold, foggy morning, he left Bag End and made his way to the edge of the Shire, to the very place where his journey had begun. He stood on the ridge, looking out at the world beyond, the world he had saved. And yet, all he could feel was dread. The ring's presence was stronger now, almost palpable. His hand shook as he reached into his pocket, and to his horror, he felt it, a small, cold band of metal. No, Frodo whispered, his voice breaking. He pulled his hand out of his pocket, praying that it was just his imagination. But there it was, the One Ring, as real and solid as the day Bilbo had passed it to him. Frodo stumbled backward, dropping the ring onto the grass, his heart pounding in his chest. It couldn't be. He had destroyed it. Sam, Gandalf, everyone had seen it. But the ring lay before him, gleaming in the pale light of morning, waiting. No! He screamed, kicking it away, scrambling to his feet. This isn't real. You're gone. You're gone. But the ring only laughed, its soft, sinister whisper growing louder in his mind. You can never destroy me, Frodo. I am bound to you, forever. Desperation clawed at his heart. Frodo turned and ran, his feet carrying him back toward Bag End. But no matter how far he ran, he could still hear it. Its voice, its call. The weight of it pressed down on him, crushing him with its terrible power. Every step became harder, as though the ring was dragging him back, pulling him toward an inevitable fate. When he reached Bag End, he slammed the door behind him, locking it tight. But even inside his home, the ring's presence filled every corner, every shadow. He could feel it watching him, waiting for him to succumb. The Shire, once a place of peace and tranquility, now felt like a prison. Frodo sank to the floor, his body shaking with fear. He clutched at the wound in his side, the wound that had never fully healed. The pain flared, sharp and cruel, as the ring's whispers turned to mocking laughter. You thought you could escape me, but you were wrong. I will always be with you. Tears filled Frodo's eyes as he realized the horrible truth. The ring had never left him. Even without the physical object, its power, its curse, had seeped into his very soul. He would never be free of it. The weight of the ring, its darkness, would haunt him for the rest of his days. And as the shadows of Bag End closed in around him, Frodo knew that peace, the simple, beautiful life he had dreamed of, was forever out of reach.